Hello friends, good morning. How are you? I hope you are better. You are good. You are welcome to Medical Biochemistry series in which we are dealing with the chemistry of lipid, and we have already completed the compound lipids. Today we are going to deal with the derived lipids. We know that Blur had classified lipids into simple lipids, compound lipids, derived lipids, and miscellaneous lipids. So we have already completed the compound lipids. So today we are going to see derived lipids. What are derived lipids? These derived lipids are synthesized by the hydrolysis of simple and compound lipids. So you must know derived lipids are derived from simple and compound lipids, and the examples of these derived lipids are fatty acids, steroids, fat soluble vitamins, then ketone bodies, so these are the examples of the derived lipids: fatty acids, steroids, fat soluble vitamins, and ketone bodies. Now we'll discuss one by one what are fatty acids. First we'll see fatty acids. What is fatty acids? Where from we get it? We get this fatty acid from the diet. Along with this diet, whatever we take, these fatty acids, they are already deposited in our body in the form of fats. So these fats which are deposited in our body in the adipose tissues. And these adipose tissues will be released in the form of the fatty acids. Fatty acids are the hydrocarbons compound with carboxylic acid. So here this chain of the fatty acids are formed in our body in a straight or in unbranched manner. So these fatty acids, they are present in our body in the two different forms. One is said to be saturated and another is called as unsaturated. The example of saturated fatty acids are the lignoceric acid and the examples of unsaturated fatty acid is linoleic acid. So these are the saturated and unsaturated fatty acids. We have already seen in the beginning only that what is meant by saturated fatty acids. Saturated fatty acids are those which do not have double bond in its structure. And what is unsaturated fatty acid? They have the double bond in its structure between the carbon atoms, and therefore the saturated and unsaturated fatty acids are distinguished. Now we'll see the structure of fatty acids. Generally the fatty acids are present in even number as well as odd numbers. Now we'll see the fatty acids which are present in our body. They are from 16 to 24 carbon compounds, and the most abundant fatty acids which are found in nature, they are 16 to 20 carbon atom. Now these are the fatty acids. The structure of acid will be like this: CH, so these are the hydrocarbon, and it is attached with the carboxylic group, that is C double bond O OH. This is carboxylic group, and these are the hydrocarbon. The carboxylic group is polar in nature, and hydrocarbons, it is non-polar, means that it is hydrophilic and it is hydrophobic. So this is the structure belongs to the fatty acid. Now we'll see the fatty acid which is present in our body in the form of triglycerol. We'll see the structure of the triglycerol. So this is the structure belongs to the triglycerol. Triglycerol is stored in the fats in the underlayer of the skin known as adipose tissues, or in the cells adipocytes. So here this is the structure belongs to the triglycerol, where R1, R2, R3, these are the fatty acids, and this is the glycerol. The structure of glycerol will be so this is a structure belongs to the glycerol here, and this glycerol will be formed in the body for the energy purpose. Glycerol is yielded in the body for energy purpose. Now if you see, if you hydrolyze this triglyceride with pancreatic lipase, the triglycerol, they are hydrolyzed or they are treated with the pancreatic lipase, and they form the monoalkyl glycerol. So here, when this triglycerol is treated with this pancreatic lipase in the body, then it will form this is the structure belongs to the 2-monoacyl glycerol. Here the R1COOH plus R3COOH is given out when the triglycerols are hydrolyzed with pancreatic lipase. Then this is the structure belongs to 2-monoacyl glycerol. So here we have already seen that the derived lipids, they are formed in our body by the hydrolysis or by the hydrolysis of the simple and compound lipids. Now we'll see the steroids. Steroids are the compounds which will have a central ring known as cyclopentanoperhydrophenanthrin. So a ring structure will be there in the steroids known as cyclopentanoperhydrophenanthrin. Here the structure of example the cholesterol. If you see the structure of cholesterol, generally the steroids they are having 4 fused rings in its structure. The first 3 rings A, B, C, this is a structure belongs to cholesterol. Now we are seeing that A, B, C, these are the cyclohexane ring. The ring which are present A, B, C in the cholesterol, they are cyclohexane ring, and the another ring that is D, it is cyclopentane ring. So, and this cholesterol will have 27 carbon atoms. Generally the steroids, they are having only 18 carbon atom, but here in the cholesterol the 27 carbon atoms are present, and this is the structure belongs to the cholesterol. Now here at carbon atom number 3 OH will be present, and this structure is known as hydrophilic structure. And the rest of the structure belongs to hydrophobic. So here means that this cholesterol is amphipathic in nature, or we can say that the cholesterol is amphipathic lipid. Amphipathic. Lipid. Now this becomes the structure. Here the 27 carbon atoms are present, and the double bond is present between the carbon atom 5 and 6. Here the double bond is seen here. Now a question arises, where this cholesterol is seen in our body. Cholesterol is a constituent belongs to cell membrane. It is called as animal sterol. Cholesterol is known as animal sterol, and it is seen in mammalian liver and as well as in the serum of the human body. Now the sources, or we can see the occurrence of this cholesterol, is the chief constituent of the cell membrane and also plasma. It is also seen in the brain, nervous tissues, and as well as in the bile, or we can say that it is seen in the bile. Yes. So here it is a chief constituent of cell membrane and plasma. Now it is also seen in the vertebrae, in the spinal cord of the animals also. So you must know that the occurrence will be cell, it is a chief constituent, belongs to cell membrane, plasma and the bile. Now here you must know that this cholesterol will show the optical activity, and it will show the motor rotation of 39. It is a faint yellow or white crystalline compound, and it shows the optical activity. The motor rotation will be 39. Now we'll see that the 30% of cholesterol will be present in the form of free cholesterol, and 70% of cholesterol will be present in the form of esters. Now this cholesterol, they are of two types, LDL and HDL. What is LDL? We have seen in the lipoprotein, low density lipoprotein, and HDL is high density lipoprotein. Now this low density lipoprotein is called as bad cholesterol, and HDL, that is heavy density lipoprotein, is called as good cholesterol. Now why this low density lipoprotein is called as bad cholesterol? Because it raises the cholesterol level in our body. So the normal range of this cholesterol is 145 milligram percent to 250 milligram percent. It should remain in a normal condition in our body. If it raises, the level of the cholesterol will raise, then it can leads to the diseases like the coronary heart disease. So you must know that if the normal range is 145 to 250 milligram percent, so this LDL is known as bad cholesterol. So it raises above this 250 milligram percent of the cholesterol, and heavy density lipoprotein, that is known as HDL, it is a good cholesterol. It lowers the cholesterol level in our body by transporting the cholesterol from peripheral tissue to the liver. Now here the transportation of cholesterol in LDL or the lipoprotein, low density lipoprotein, is that it transports the cholesterol from liver to the peripheral tissues. So you must know that this is the difference between this LDL and HDL. So now we'll see if this cholesterol, they are oxidized, readily oxidized by H2SO4, sulfuric acid, and the estimation of cholesterol is seen in the laboratory from the Lieberman Burchard reaction. So this is the method to estimate the cholesterol in the laboratory, and here you must know that the cholesterol, they are readily oxidized by the H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid. Now these are the some important points about the steroids in our body. Now the next derived lipid, they are the fat soluble vitamins. These are A, D, E and K. Now these vitamins are soluble in water, soluble in organic solvents, and they are toxic in nature. They cannot be excreted into the urine. They are toxic. And why these vitamins are needed? They are needed for the growth purpose. So here, there are some important points among these fat soluble vitamins, and these fat soluble vitamins carry out the various biological functions in our body. They carry out important biological functions in our body. Now we'll see one by one what is vitamin A. Vitamin A is also known as retinol, and this retinol is having a derivative known as retinoic acid. This retinoic acid is responsible for the formation of glycoproteins and mucopolysaccharides in our body. Now, the retinoic acid is the derived form of the vitamin A. Now, this vitamin A is the integrity of epithelial cells. They are the integrity of epithelial cells, and they are the important for the growth purpose in our body, and they form a pigment known as the rhodopsin. Rhodopsin is a pigment which is responsible for the eyesight or for the visual purpose in our body. If you see, this absence of the vitamin A will leads to xerophthalmia or night blindness. So this rhodopsin, which is present in the rod cells, which gives rise to a pigment. The rhodopsin is an pigment for the visual purpose. It is very essential. Then you must know that vitamin A reduces or diminishes the activity of the carcinogens in our body. They reduces or diminishes the carcinogenic effect of the body, or we can say the substances. Now we'll see that the vitamin D, this we are seeing in short. At the time of the chapter vitamins, we'll see in detail, but as they are the derived lipids, where it is necessary to know how they are derived and where from. So this vitamin D is also known as cholecalciferol. and it is responsible for the absorption of calcium ions and phosphate. And the second function of this vitamin D is it increases the permeability of calcium ions. Permeability of calcium ions. And vitamin D is also responsible for the reabsorption of calcium. From the renal tubules. You must know that the substances are filtered through glomerulus filtration in the kidney. So the substances which are excreted, some substances which are excreted, they are reabsorbed by the body, and here the reabsorption of calcium ions is seen from the renal tubule by the vitamin D. And vitamin D also responsible for the mineralization of bones and teeth. So these are some important functions of vitamin D, and we can see that the next another vitamin that is called as vitamin E. Vitamin E is called as tocopherol, and this is necessary for it is an integrity to the membrane cells and act as an antioxidant. Act as an antioxidant. What is antioxidant property? We have seen that the antioxidant property is nothing but whenever the formation of free radical will be there in our body, it is removed with the help of the H2O2. Means that when the free radical is formed, it will join to water and will give rise to H2O2. So here the free radical which is toxic in nature, they are removed or eliminated by treating with water, and the formation of hydrogen peroxide will be there, and here therefore it is said to be the antioxidant property shown by the. And this vitamin E is also responsible for the reproduction and it reduces or it prevents the peroxidation of H2O2. Just now I told you what is the importance of H2O2 in our body, that it is very important. This H2O2 is later on converted to water and oxygen molecule. So here the prevention of H2O2 is by the peroxidation is seen by vitamin E, and vitamin E prevents the hemolysis of RBCs in our body. What it prevents? It prevents the hemolysis of RBCs in our body. Now see vitamin A, D, E, and last one is vitamin K. This vitamin K is seen in our body in the form of phylloquinone, also known as vitamin K1, menaquinone, also known as vitamin K2, and this vitamin K is also known as the anti-hemorrhagic factor. and it is responsible for the blood clotting. And sometimes it is seen in the body. It acts as a cofactor in the chemical reactions, metabolic chemical reactions. It is seen as a cofactor in the oxidative phosphorylation. So here the chemical reaction which run in the body, that is known as oxidative phosphorylation. This vitamin K is used as a cofactor in the metabolic reaction. Now we'll see the another derivative compounds are the derived lipids. They are the ketone bodies. Ketone bodies.
स्लो बोलो थोड़ा.
These ketone bodies are formed in the body by the process known as ketogenesis. This is a process where the formation of ketone body takes place. These ketones, they are stored in the liver, and whenever the body needs energy, a ketolysis can occur. Ketolysis. Ketolysis is nothing but it is a breakdown of the lipid, and this ketolysis will give rise to the ketone bodies. The ketone bodies like acetyl CoA, acetyl CoA, acetoacetate, beta hydroxy butyrate. So these are the ketone bodies, and acetyl CoA ketone body is formed in the process of the beta oxidation of fatty acids. Acetyl CoA. This acetyl CoA is formed by the process known as beta oxidation of fatty acids. It is a metabolic pathway which is seen in the body. So beta oxidation of fatty acid will leads to in the last that acyl CoA and acetyl CoA, and this acetyl CoA later on will move into the Krebs cycle. The ketone bodies which are formed in the body, they are stored in the liver but not utilized by the liver because of the absence of the CoA transferase, an activate enzyme known as CoA transferase. CoA transferase. So this is an enzyme which is absent in the body. Therefore, the ketone bodies which are present in the liver, it is not utilized by the liver, but it is just removed from the liver to extrahepatic tissues. So this is all about the ketone bodies which are the derived lipids. Now we'll see the miscellaneous lipids. These are the pentacosane, terpenes, terpenoids, and third is beta carotene. or carotenoids. And fourth one is known as choline. So this pentacosane is seen in the hydrocarbons of beeswax, and these are the aliphatic straight chain carbon compounds. Pentacosanes, they are nothing but the aliphatic straight chain unbranched compounds, and these compounds will have 25 carbon atom. And these are the components of fuel and lubricating oil. Now you must know that these are the pentacosane. Now we'll see the another. They are called as terpenoids. Terpenoids are the compounds having less than 40 carbon atoms. And this is generally, we can see the terpenes with 40 carbon atom in the beta carotenoid or carotenoid, we can see. The terpenes which are present with 40 carbon atoms, it is seen in the carotenoids. Now we'll see what are the carotenoids. Around about 600 types of carotenoids are seen in the body, but the important one is beta carotenoid. Now here, this beta carotenoid is seen here. We can say that it is a yellow red pigment. It is a yellow red pigment. Now it's this choline. The another derived miscellaneous lipid is choline. Choline is a compound which is seen in the mammalian liver. It is also seen in the serum, and generally it is a compound belongs to unsaturated fatty acid, or we can say that the unsaturated straight chain compound in the shark. You know that this type of compound is present in the shark. So you must know that it is a straight chain compound. So this is all about the miscellaneous lipids. So friends, if you like my lecture, share it, give comments, and don't forget to subscribe. If you subscribe, you will get the further lectures, and I am teaching the full syllabus belongs to the all medical science students, which will be very helpful for the examination. And the medical science students like optometry, nursing and physiotherapy, they can take out the material from my lecture, and these lectures are generally meant for the medical, the full lectures for medical, dental, MSc, PhD and MD students. Subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.